Hi, I'm Dave, one of the designers here at Shorthand. I'm going to talk to you all about crafting beautiful stories in shorthand. Let's get started. On the screen now, you'll see examples of stories created with shorthand. Each one is visually striking, designed to draw readers in with elegant typography, powerful imagery, thoughtful layouts, and cohesive branding. Shorthand makes it really easy to create stunning content, from feature stories in digital magazines to immersive brand experiences, all without code. You'll notice a common thread among these examples. They use strong design principles, clean layouts, refined color palettes, and carefully chosen visuals that align perfectly with their brand. Before recording this tutorial, I asked our team what makes a shorthand story truly beautiful. Here's some of the things they said. Less is more, using interesting visual effects, choosing slick color palettes, bringing text to life, keeping it visually coherent, creating a great user experience. But why does it even matter that a story is beautiful? Because beautiful shorthand stories and beautiful content in general connect with audiences in a profound and significant way. And with so much content being created, it's really important to produce content that's high quality. So let's distill some of these ideas down into a few principles we can use to help us craft beautiful stories. Number one, know your audience. It might sound really obvious, but let's imagine, for example, we're running a restaurant, and the three core values of our restaurant are that it's fast, it's convenient, and it's got really tasty food. Our brand might look something like this, and our restaurant might look something like this. Now, let's contrast that with a brand whose values are relaxed, sophisticated, and artisanal. That brand might look something like this, and their restaurant might look something like this. When you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. So, by knowing our audience, we're really able to speak directly to them. We can empathize with them, we can tailor our message to them, and we can design something that really resonates with them. Number two, have a theme. Design is the silent ambassador of your brand, said Paul Rand. A theme creates consistency in our design and in our story, and consistency is really important because it helps build a sense of trust with our audience. They feel like they can trust us because our brand is consistent. So what makes up a theme? The obvious elements are things like a logo, a color palette, and typography. It can even include things like photographic style and illustration style if your brand uses illustration. It can also include things like iconography style and even details like border radius, the curve on your buttons, and that sort of thing. Number three, keep it simple. It's a great quote here that says the ability to simplify means to eliminate the unnecessary so that the necessary may speak. And we can really apply that to our story design. Simplicity tends to make things easier. When we're creating a story, it's really tempting to add more, to say more, to include more, but that can overwhelm our reader. And in an ocean of noise, with all this content being created, we need to make sure that we aren't ignored. So by focusing on what's important, we can make sure our message is heard. And how can we simplify? We can focus on the necessary, we can get clear and exercise restraint with our design decisions. We can simplify through language, visual design, and choose the right media and calls to action. I saw this poster for a barber or a hairdresser, and there's a lot going on in this poster. And as a bit of an experiment, I tried to apply some of these principles we're talking about, these simplification techniques, to the poster. And this is what I came up with. Really shows how different something can look when you apply simplicity. Number four, use hierarchy. Here's a paragraph of text. All the words are the same style, but when you apply hierarchy, it makes it a lot easier to read. It helps them work out what they should read first, what they should read second, and what they should read third. Number five, optimize for clarity. When something's really visually noisy, it can distract us from the important message. We can do things like choosing colors, typography, and images that work really well together to help. Here's an example of a title section in shorthand using colors and text and a background image that make it pretty hard to read. And here's that same title text with some contrast applied, and you can see this is a lot easier to read. Number 6, add movement. It's this great quote that says, "Motion creates emotion." You can see here that I've got some images above my text and I've set them to animate in. It just creates a little bit more interest in our story so that things aren't so static. Number 7, let data tell the story. Another great quote that numbers have an important story to tell. Here's 3 paragraphs of text. It's interesting. It's about coffee production around the world. The thing about this text is that there's some really great data in the text, but if your viewer's just skimming through, they might miss it. So we can use a chart section in shorthand to help tell the story visually. In this example, we've taken that same data from the paragraph of text and used the chart section to help visualize it. You can now see that Brazil here is leading the pack with 37% of the world's coffee production. So even if you're skimming through the story, which obviously we hope not all users are, but they're still able to take away the key points from our story. Number 8, inspire action. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. So at the end of our story, it can be really good to actually ask our viewer to take some sort of action. And a simple way of doing this is by using a button, which you can easily add within your shorthand story. So now it's time for a challenge. Let's put all of this into action. We're going to use the example of shorthand as a surf brand. So for this exercise, shorthand is rebranding. We are becoming a surf company, and this is our logo. This is our color palette. This is a sample of our typography. Here's a sample of the style of images that we're going to use, the style of illustration, and here it is all together using the shorthand theme builder. So just to recap before we jump into the challenge, number 1, know your audience. Number 2, have a theme. 3, keep it simple. 4, use hierarchy. 5, optimize for clarity. 6, add movement. 7, visualize the data. And 8, inspire action.